Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about my PlayStation experience this year with the PlayStation first party games. I have bought other games on the PlayStation 5 this year too, but we're not going to really get into that because most of those games I bought on the Xbox and the PC as well. So, as you know, God of War Ragnarok just came out, just released. I beat that. I put my review up for that. And aside from that, we've had Sifu this year. We've had Stray. We've had Gran Turismo 7. We've had Horizon Forbidden West. And now we have God of War Ragnarok. We also had Ghostwire Tokyo. And yes, I've bought every single one of these games except for Stray. I did not buy Stray. I took advantage of my PlayStation Plus Premium for that. So we're going to include PlayStation Plus Premium in this as well as I go over how I felt and how I feel like the PlayStation first party have stacked up this year. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let you know exactly which one was my favorite one. And this here is essentially the PlayStation game of the year for me. For me, that is going to go to Horizon Forbidden West. Yes, Horizon Forbidden West is my favorite PlayStation 5 game for this year. I've played all the rest of them. I have, I've invested pretty good amount of time. I would say I got more play out of my PlayStation 5 this year than I did last year for sure. So there's a lot of other things, that came out this year, like 1440p support, VRR support. So, for this year, PlayStation was a pretty good year for me for the PlayStation 5. I really do appreciate it. Now, I wanted to do like the 2-year anniversary for the PlayStation 5, but I got kind of caught up with other stuff, trying to get through God of War, trying to get through, all the other stuff. My least favorite PlayStation game this year is going to be Stray. I know. I get it. A lot of you guys were pretty hyped up about that. It was pretty divisive, man. These PlayStation games, they come out and they're pretty divisive. There's a lot of overhype over there on the PlayStation side. And if you've been to this channel for a while, if you've been a subscriber here for a while, I play everything. And Last of Us Part 1 remake. I'm not going to put that in there as a game of the year because it's technically an old game, but that is the only PlayStation game this year I've given a 10 out of 10 because it was a 10 out of 10 when it came out. It's a 10 out of 10 now. It's always going to be a 10 out of 10. No matter how many times they remake it and make it look better and do all of that. They really did a really good job with that remake. And I'm sorry I didn't include that in the list, but yes, that is on there. There's also been some PC games that have come out for the PC, all the old games and stuff, but Spider-Man is by far my favorite one. It's on the PC. It literally plays incredible. It feels amazing and it's fun to play. I would say overall for PlayStation this year, it's been pretty dang good. Like I've enjoyed these games like Gran Turismo 7. I really enjoyed playing that. I really did have a good time with it. It really does. It 100% hits that perfect balance for me for like an arcade racer. Like it was good. It felt great. It kind of feels like it's on rails, but it felt good to play. Like it was a feel good. And that's what mainly Sony PlayStation games have become for me over the years is like, these are really good games, but they're like really feel good games. Horizon Forbidden West, while the story did not hit as hard as the first game did, that's a reoccurring thing. We'll come back to that. But the story didn't hit as hard as the first one. But the gameplay, the added, 60 FPS, the being able to, have the higher quality visuals. Once that thing got updated, after 5 months and, I got the 1440p monitor and was playing it on there after the 1440p patch. That game looks incredible on the 1440p monitor. Like it literally looks incredible. I played God of War on both and God of War looked pretty dang good on the monitor too, but that one there holds up extremely well on a 4K screen. Like you could play that one through on a 4K screen and it holds up really well. So I ended up finishing that off on the 4K. Kind of just, I wanted to see it and and it looked good. It held up pretty good. That one does give me a little bit of hope, for the PlayStation 5 4K capability. At 60 frames a second and above, it looked good. It looked good. But Horizon Forbidden West. Now, that game took me 25 hours to beat, and I was kind of rushing through that one too, trying to get through it, ignoring all the side content and everything like that. And that gave me 25 hours of like pretty heavy duty, like, story content. It just, I don't know why it didn't hit. Like, I really liked Aloy's coming of, like, becoming story, like, this is Aloy, this is who she is, like, getting to know her in the first game. And that was really cool. And then the second game, it was just like, you got to pretty much start all over again. You got to collect all this new stuff. You got to do all this, whatever. I mean, it got the job done. It got the gameplay going and moving and stuff. But when it came to like story content, I feel like Horizon Forbidden West was just a bit better than God of War Ragnarok. Now the ending of both of those games, they kind of just hit with a thud. And you're just like, oh man, really? I did all that for this? This was the big payoff. And I'm not saying that like other games are like way better in their endings or anything like that, but I just, man, it's really helped me, to it really has kind of helped me on this channel to be looking a little more, what's the word for it? It's kind of helped me to be a little bit more critical of PlayStation when their games come out. And that just kind of helps me put things in perspective for all the consoles, It just, because if I'm out there and I'm just constantly like, yeah, man, these are great. Because I used to be like that. I used to be like, Sony could do no wrong. And it gets bad because you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to everybody else, but you just want to be, you just want to be accepted and feel like everybody else does. And, honestly, guys, if the community of PlayStation wasn't so freaking toxic, it wouldn't be a big deal. It wouldn't be a big deal. But, running a gaming channel with, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, everything, it's so hard for anybody else to be happy about Xbox or Nintendo or PC or anything else. With the PlayStation guys, they're just so ignorant about it. They sit and they come to the thing and they just call everything trash, and then it gets the Xbox guys worked up, and then they start doing it and feeding into it. And I'm not saying the Xbox guys are perfect, but I've noticed, like, when I'm at work and talking to my friends about video games, we don't talk about this stuff, dude. Honestly, this is an online internet thing only, man. Nobody in the real world really cares. Like, nobody cares about like the console wars, and neither do I. Like, seriously, when I played through God of War, my expectations for that game were pretty high. And that's because of the marketing. That's because of the shill reviews that come out saying, yeah, this is a masterpiece and this is way better than... That kind of stuff leads you to believe that, like, yeah, man, this game is going to be great. And then when it comes out and it kind of hits with a thud like it did with me, I'm thinking like, oh man, did I not play the same game these guys played? Like, what was the difference? Because cranking up the difficulty to a harder level would have only frustrated me more and made that game even worse for me. So I don't think that was a problem. And I'm not a stranger to playing hard games. Like, I play Souls games. I like playing those. I love the challenge that those games bring, and I love that they feel fair and good, and I'm not fighting a camera and fighting the clunky combat. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, Souls combat is clunky, but once you learn it and learn how to do it, it's not as bad and it works. But when you play a game like God of War Ragnarok, and it just feels like the camera's too close. I get that they're good. I always feel like PlayStation games sacrifice gameplay for visuals, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, I'm perfectly happy playing a Ubisoft game with the visuals that Ubisoft has, and I'm like, yeah, this looks great. This looks cool, man. I love the big openness and being able to do what I want to do. And I mean, even Horizon Forbidden West, like, the world looked good, but you can tell it's small. Like, you can get anywhere you want to go pretty quick. And that just leaves everything so close together that you can basically see everything. So it kind of gets rid of that whole sense of adventure. It just, it takes that away from you. Like, it looks really good when you're running through and doing all that, but it takes that sense of adventure away when the world is as small as it is in these Sony first party games. Now, Ghost of Tsushima, that one did it right. That one did it right. I love Tsushima Island. I think it's great. It's big. Everything looked great. I was really hoping for like a higher visual quality when it came to PlayStation 5, but we didn't get that. But I'm hoping that I'm cautiously optimistic about the second game. Yes, I will keep buying PlayStation games. I will keep playing them. I'll keep giving you my honest opinion on them. And I'm not doing this to be a fanboy or nothing like that. Like I promise you that. Like I'm not doing this to be a fanboy. It's just God of War did not hit with me the way that I expected it to. And I do blame myself a little bit for that because I let my hype become unchecked. If that makes sense. Like I let my hype ruin that experience for me because dude, I've played story games with worse stories than that and loved them. But I let my hype get to me on God of War Ragnarok, and that sucks, man, because I do kind of feel bad about it but man, if you believe all the hype machine out there, that's what they wanted you to think, that this game was perfect and great and it was going to hit home no matter what. And it just didn't. It literally fell flat. There's so much in that game that just did not work for me. I wanted to play the game as Kratos the whole time. I didn't care about playing as anybody else. Nobody else didn't even care about that. And it forcefully takes that away from me. And it makes me do something that I just didn't want to do for a lot of the game. And I'm like, wow, man, this really does suck, man. Like this is not what I thought I was going to get. So, as it sits right now, my game of the year for PlayStation first-party games is Horizon Forbidden West. I freaking love that game. It was awesome. I gave it a 90. While the story was a little bit off, it wasn't so bad that you can't play it. There were some technical issues, in the launch of the game, but they fixed all that. They've made it better. Horizon Forbidden West is definitely worth playing, and that's my pick of the year for PlayStation 5. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.